Sorry for the technical difficulties. Those of you watching, I can't see because of my setup. It makes it difficult for me to know who's there exactly. I can't see any comments in the chat, so if you want to say anything, I will see it. Just have to subscribe, I think, to be able to use the chat. But welcome to Spelljammer Astral Agents in Boots. Your friendly rat bastard GM Kiwi, and we've spent enough time trying to get this started, so let's get straight into it. Wildspace, not the final frontier, but breathtaking nonetheless. Violet nebula trails flecked with winking starlight, swirling gas giants wrapped in spectacular dust rings. 4 small moons is the backdrop, but it is not meteor showers striking atmosphere that fills your vision with flashes of fire. All of you find yourself standing on the trembling deck of a galleon surging through the sea of stars. Thunder. An explosion fills the air with splinters of wood, obliterating 2 of the masts. The violent impact throws you to your knees and hurls a dozen of your fellow sailors overboard into Wildspace. The haze of smoke across the deck mirrors the haze of your mind. The boat shudders again as the first pirate galleon crashes starboard, grappling hooks latch the vessels together, and a gust of foul wind washes over you as the galleon's air envelope merges with your own. There's a woman in the midst of all this, standing tall amidst the chaos, dressed in a naval uniform, shouting orders at you. And others are standing around looking dazed and confused as you all feel. Who is she? Do you know her? Is she your captain? You feel like you should know her, but you look down at your hands and you don't even know yourself. So I'm going to ask everyone to please roll initiative for me.
Okay.
The fates are already coming true with this initiative roll.
As we expected. Ace.
Down there with you.
Ace is going first. So, Goonie, please describe for everybody the physical aspect of the person that you're looking down upon, the hands that you're seeing, the person that's standing there confused, the body that's on the deck. Not the person inside, but just the body that we're seeing.
Looking down at my hands, these are not my hands. My fingers are skinnier. My skin, it's yellowish green and mottled with spots covered with scars. My body is skinnier. What happened to my muscles? That was quite a specimen, but now this is not. I don't recognize this. I see a reflection of a face. It's gaunt. It's narrow, really harsh. My nose, it's small and turned up like a bat. My hair, black, wild, just standing up everywhere. And it's not a friendly face. People always said I had a handsome, friendly face, and this is neither of those. I don't know if I can work with this body. This is not what I remember. Maybe I hit my head really hard, remembering wrong.
Describe to everyone what you should be seeing, the body that you expect to see when you look at yourself.
Well, what I would expect to see is a strapping young man, handsome. I'm modest, but quite handsome. Not necessarily tall or muscular, but lithe, fit like a dancer. I have, shaggy, messy hair, which I've been told is what people like. My eyes are green normally, not this yellowish with slitted pupils. No, I had I had striking green eyes, the color of fresh young grass in the springtime. My skin was touched, burnished, some might say, by sunlight, because I'm always outside. stand a little shorter than this body, maybe 5'8" if we would measure in imperial units. I don't know. But yeah, it was just a handsome man of an indeterminate age.
Okay, so as you remember what you should look like, you have this connection to your last memory. And it begins with a sound. And it's the most terrible sound that you've ever heard. It's the sound of an entire realm tearing free from the Feywild into its own pocket of existence. It sounds as though reality itself is screaming in agony. The view, however, is breathtaking. And on the deck, where you stand in this memory also, the Captain's Galleon, as you fondly called it, it is as though the Never had a window open on each side of it. And from that window, you can see into the wild greens and the brilliant blossoms of the Feywild. On the other side of the tier, however, it looks like there's this bridge of rainbow light that stretches out through the heart of darkness, through a dark tower, which looms within the shadows, suspended there, and it ends in a dark swirling gate that's swallowed by the light. But as it swirls and eddies, you can imagine that a city lies beyond this dark gate. Ace! A voice shouts beside you. The morose face of 2 times steps into view. You can't go with them. Stay! There's a tug on your shirt, and your eyes are drawn down to about knee level, where the cherubic face of Pockets looks up at you. This is our chance. This is our chance, Ace. The Never's ours now. To do with as we please. No more fairies, no more Fey royalty looking down their nose at us, telling us how to eat, how to dress, how to wipe our asses. Now, as you're torn between your 2 friends, between 2 impossible choices, describe to us what's going through your head.
Right. I'm looking out this new everything. I don't know how long I've been here in the Never. I've completely forgotten when I got here what it was like before. Now I've seen endless possibility. Don't you understand? 2 times Pockets. We could have the Never, but we could have so much more. Look at this. There's more than we've ever dreamed of or known. How could we stay here and just settle? We're meant for something big, not a pocket realm or even the Feywild. There's I just feel like we'd be stuck, stymied. That was kind of our thing, never growing up, never leaving. We're all together, but we could have everything. I can't say. I can't. I have to see it all. I have to see what there is.
Would you say that bridge is calling to you, like you want to go and see what's across that bridge?
I would say I have to go see what's across that bridge. I don't think I could. I don't think I could resist the call.
All right. So as that thought's crossing your mind, your heart torn between your 2 best friends, a strange ship shaped like an orca, like a killer whale, but the beams of its hull made to look like ribs and bones, slams into the side of the galleon. And from the edge stands someone who's been bossing you around lately. Captain James T. Hook. He stands there at the edge with his booted foot up on the side of the boat. Those who come with me, those who choose to follow the path of Gwendolyn, will tower above the Fey courts that once looked down on you. You will be the most trusted vassals of the true God. Rewards and glory will be heaped upon you. Think not of other places. We will rule from here. He holds up his hooked hand, but if you step aboard, you leave a hand at the door. A sign of your compromise. You see young Pockets jump aboard the boat and look back at you. It's just a hand, Ace. He lays his hand on the banister as this massive crocodile with a ticking clock that can be heard dulled from its belly approaches the side and opens its great mouth to swallow Pocket's hand. I'll go first. It's nothing but a scratch. He smiled back at you reassuringly, waiting for you to join him. But a boy from the stern of your boat, dressed in green leathers, calls out. You said forever, Ace. Never growing up. But now you're just one of them. We're leaving this madness back to our home in the Feywild where we belong. We will remain young. 2 times grips your hand. Pan's right, Ace. Pockets ain't thinking right. We need to go before we pay the price for their madness. How does Ace react to these different pulls at him now?
I want to shout out to Pockets. No, it's too much. Don't give him your hand. You know he can't be trusted. I want to go with. He's more than a brother to me, but it will be trading for a lesser destiny. Don't you guys see? There's more. There's more than the Feywild. Pockets, you're not thinking right. We've fought Hook before. We can beat him. We don't need to join him.
Suddenly, fighting breaks out. From the tier near the Feywild, a horde of creatures just spills through into the Never. There's a long-haired boy leading the charge on a white Palomino unicorn. The whole sea trembles beneath you as a giant of stone stomps through behind them. Pan shouts to raise the sails and the galleon rises from the sea into the air. The mounted boy cries, Al Morla! And the sea itself empties, leaving Hook's ship beached in a swampy moor. The nearby island stands on 4 scaled legs and a huge turtle head emerges. Pan's galleon took to the sky, but the giant turtle sneezes, snapping the sails and sending it crashing into the turtle's shell. From the stranded killer whale ship, the enchanting presence of Gwendolyn emerges upon the main deck. That stills the clash of sabers that breaks out between the 2 conflicting forces, those who want to follow Pockets, those who want to return with Captain Pete and 2 times. But when they see Gwendolyn emerge, everyone turns to her, hoping her gentle wisdom will put an end to this nonsensical violence. There's a quiet for a moment. She looks straight at you, Ace, and she says, matter-of-factly, those who are not with us, those who stand with Pan and the Fae, those who would leave us, they're against us. They know too much. Kill them all. What does Ace do as this Fae court charges behind this boy on the Palomino unicorn and your friends begin fighting each other with flashing blades, literally trying to kill each other?
Ace draws his rapier and just shouts and goes straight for. I don't want to fight my friends. I'm gonna go right for Hook. And he just charges, races as fast as he can, directly at the tall, imposing, dark form of Hook.
Nice. His blade leaves his scabbard as swiftly as yours, and your blades clash. From the bridge of light, 3 hammerhead-shaped ships swoop through the breach from the dark side, and a battalion of strange humanoids dressed in dark clothes, wearing these clothes that are of a cut you've never seen, very rigid and almost square in their appearance, uniformly black and wearing these strange lensed black glasses. They tower over you, looking over their own deck down at the fighting with deep disapproval. One of the most robust against them, his head like a massive hippo, calls out, "Well, this is a fine mess." Gwendolyn, at that moment, seeing these people arrive, curses and disappears in a flash of magic, and the hippo-headed fellow is joined by a floating head covered in eye stalks, a giant eye in the center of it, and each eye bearing one of these dark lensed glasses, but just with a single lens. And this creature, this floating many-eyed creature, asserts, "We don't have time to sort this out. The breach is severe. The Bureau has put all arms of government on DEFCON 9. We have to clean this up and get back. Questions later." The hippo nods, and he apologizes. "Sorry for anyone not directly involved in this. I'm sure we'll sort this out probably with the appropriate paperwork filings. But for now, under the jurisdiction of all creators of the Celestial Bureau and the authority of the Interdimensional Normalization Corps, you are hereby under arrest for the destabilization of the Feywild and opening a gate through the Shadowfell into the central pillar of the Outlands. You will be taken for immediate normalization. Any rights you might have here are null and void." The Hippo Man takes a black gem, a chunk of pure obsidian, from their pocket and tosses it onto the deck. The other fellows dressed like this do the same. Clink, 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 clink. Gems everywhere. The air is filled with clinks as dozens and dozens of obsidian gems land on board the galleon and the orca alike. One comes to rest beside you where you're battling with Hook, and your soul begins to leak. It leaks from you like dark ink, and you're absorbed into the obsidian jar. You see your own body fall limp above yourself moments before oblivion, and that was the last memory you had. Now you stand on the deck of a ship. The ship I described earlier, looking at a body that's not your own. Can you put yourself on the ship somewhere, please, for me, Goonie? Anywhere you want. And then make an intelligence saving throw for me, please.
Despite the fact
You do make the save. Nice. Okay.
I'm confused. For sure.
So there's a moment where, as these strange-looking reavers leap across the deck and start carving through the crew around you, who are just locked in confusion, you seem to be the first one reacting. But there's a moment when you have the sensation of seeing a spider beginning to crawl over the side of the deck. A huge, gigantic spider, venom dripping from its little pincers clacking at you. You clear your eyes, and it was just your imagination. And suddenly you have to throw up your sword as a reaver starts charging at you. You can take your action. But one of the reavers, a simian-looking fellow with these kind of like winged pockets, I guess you could say, on their sleeves from their wrist to their armpits, just kind of glides across the deck and lands right next to you with this long flaming beard.
Okay, I'm going to draw my rapier. Of course, and it seems like this guy is trying to attack me. I'm going to attack. Gonna stand and fight, so I'm not gonna move.
Alright, so an extra 6 damage. Tell us what we see. Goon, tell us what we see.
With a flourish of my rapier, I pierce him through the throat and swiftly dance to the side before he can counterattack.
Alright, the simian is nimble and moves his head just to the side. A long slash opens up on the side of his neck and bleeds, but it's not a killing blow. So, moving on. Axel. Kabuki,
Yes.
tell us this strange body that you're looking down on.
So the first thing that Axel notices when he looks down at his hands isn't even his hands. The first thing that he notices is that how far away the deck looks from his point of view. Because he was a very tall human being, but for some reason, he seems even way taller than that. And as he starts focusing more onto his hands, he notices he doesn't really have the same type of hands that he used to. He has claws, he has fur, a golden mane starting at the tips of the finger, rolling back past his wrist, and then getting bigger up the arms. And he sits there frozen, claws out, just staring at it, wondering where he is, what he's even looking at, if it's even his own body. He definitely does not feel right. He goes to take a step and sees a barrel in front of him and misjudges. Doesn't put his hand up on it.
What's everyone else seeing? The rest of your body?
Everyone else that's around is looking over and seeing how big this body is. It's just ginormous. It's about 8 feet tall. And the bigger it goes up, the wider it gets. You can't tell what it really is. It's just a big mass of black over top. But one thing that they can see is out the back end of his lower extremity, you can see a tail coming out. And it's furred, very thick.
What should we be seeing? What should you be seeing? Who is the person, who is the body that should have been, you should have been looking down at?
What he should have been looking at was a human, but a very special, almost breed of human. He was extremely in good shape, just ripped, corded muscle. He grew up as a mercenary. He had scars literally all over his hands, up to it, through his arms, everywhere on his body that you could see. He pretty much had a scar on it. He was really tall. He was over 6 feet, but even in that other body, it just seemed so much more massive. And what he always had in his hand was a great sword. That's what he was known to wield.
As you reconnect to this idea of what your body should look like, your last memory returns to you. It's a memory full of holy light. And this holy light filters through tall, stained glass windows, which depict the most virtuous of the 7 virtues of the apostles of the hand. The chapel is silent now that the violence has ended. Peaceful even. Broken pews offer rest to the crumpled forms of the slaughtered acolytes. Guardians hang their heads in silence, impaled on the spears and wingtips of angelic statues. Your bloody hand rips through the holy ankh from the neck of the prostrate priest who lies in the splintered remains of the confessional booth. You trek bloody footsteps up to the altar, your massive sword dragging through the pool of blood behind you, and you insert the ankh like a key, and a portal of light opens before you to the sound of a cherubic choir. So, as you're coming through this portal into this other place, and you're coming down from this berserk rage tell us what's going through Axel's mind.
What's going through his mind is he needs to make him understand. He needs to make Manike understand that he needs his help. He needs his help to find his wife. And he won't listen. He already denied him, but he'll make him see. He'll make him see reason. He's just got to do it face to face.
As you're thinking that, a voice echoes around you, comes from all directions at once. You really won't take no for an answer, will you? You truly believe that butchering my devout followers, my disciples, my acolytes, my priest, my altar boys, that I will hear your petition more favorably? I must admit I am impressed by the pair of balls that must be swinging between those legs. The ground trembles as a winged figure alights before you. A sword as large as your own, held in one hand pointed towards the ground, held in a lazy grip. Clearly this angel does not fear you. At last, Littlefinger, or Manike, as you called him, stands before you. Go on then. Tell me what you're here to beg for.
My wife, Amelia, she's been kidnapped by the other hand. One of your own sworn enemies, right? Aren't the angel hand supposed to take out the devil hand? Isn't that what you're here for?
Mortals. Always so concerned with your fleeting lives and your fleeting loves. You cannot understand what it means to live endlessly. What you ask me to do? You ask for the right hand to strike the left? How could I expect an ant to understand balance? You ask me to intercede on behalf of your wife, as though you believe she can be saved, as though there were no price, no cost to challenging the decisions of the left hand. Balance, little ant, is delicate. No mortal is worth risking that. So, curse, swear, stamp your feet, and when you're worn out, leave the way you came. The angel, its sword ripples with flames suddenly, with like a flick of its wrist. But he's not looking at you. Littlefinger Manike is staring at his fingernails, as though searching for some grime that he needs to get out from beneath it. As though the grime beneath his fingernails is more concerning than you and your plight. More concerning than the fate of your wife. You feel your rage begin to build again. Go on. Let it out. Let it all out. One hit. That's all you get. And then I shall give you my answer once and for all. What does Axel do next? And please describe your blade as this happens.
Okay. As this happens, the rage starts taking over Axel again, and his vision starts turning red. He doesn't know if it's actually even just his vision blurring and in blood through his own mind, or if it's the blood all around him dripping into his eyes. He doesn't even know which, but he just starts seeing only Manike right in front of him, and he starts running straight forward and dragging the sword behind him. And this thing is just as big as he is, 6 feet long, wide as a man, pure black steel. And as he's charging, he runs up and jumps and just brings it up in an overhead chop one time, right at his shoulder.
Nice. Manike is completely stunned. You can see it on his face. He did not expect pain. He certainly did not expect death. His face begins to crack where your sword has split his skull like porcelain. And pieces of it just begin to peel off from his face, and his body follows. The shock is the last thing that remains until that cracks like a theater mask into rubble. The rubble begins to absorb the light around you, and it sucks it in, and you feel yourself being sucked in towards that same light. The portal that you came through grows smaller by the moment, as this realm hinges upon the power of the defined creature that you just slew a moment ago, and it also begins to crumble. Something tears, and you feel reality tip out of balance as you struggle to remain on your feet. Where do you run? What do you do? Where is the safe place for Axel? Where would he run to? There's the portal that's closing quickly.
The portal, is that where the light's coming from?
It's being
From
that
area?
light is being absorbed into this crumbling
It's being absorbed.
vortex.
So he's gonna charge. He's gonna yell and go, "Are you another finger?" and charge straight at the portal, going directly for the light.
You reach through the other side as the portal closes moments behind you, and you're back in the chapel. But there's no safety here either. The chapel is trembling as well. The roof is cracking. All of the windows are beginning to shatter. Where would you go? This realm is falling. It's severely damaged, and you know that the consequences of this are going to be vast. Where would you seek shelter? Who would shelter you in a storm?
He would seek shelter from the bladesmith that he got the weapon forged from. That's really his only contact outside of his mercenary band that he kept in touch at all with, so he'd probably go seek refuge there.
Okay. So as you run out the doors of the chapel, you hear it starting to collapse behind you, and the earth itself like crumbling in on itself into like a ravine. You run from that place to seek out this weaponsmith, hoping that there will be some solace or refuge there. But as you knock on the door, before he can bring you in, and before you can hide, there is a woman dressed in strange dark clothes. It's very weird cut that you've never seen the likes of before. Dark glasses, far too dark to see. She says your name, Axel. Under the jurisdiction of the All Creators of the Celestial Bureau and the authority of the Interdimensional Normalization Corps, you are hereby under arrest for the destabilization of the Celestial Realms by way of murdering a divine finger, pillar of the Realm of Light. You will be taken for immediate normalization. Any rights you might have had here are null and void. The stranger takes a chunk of obsidian from her pocket, carved into the shape of a gem, and tosses it onto the floor next to you. Clink, clink, clink. It rests beside you, and you feel your soul leak from you like dark ink. And you're absorbed into the obsidian jar. Your body falls limp, and this is the last moment that you remember before oblivion. And now you stand on the deck, the swirling deck. Make that intelligence save for me, Kabuki, and move yourself to where you want to be on the deck.
Oh man. Not horrible.
All right. Passed by one. Okay.
Let's go.
There's a moment amongst the chaos as you kind of come back into yourself and you feel your feelings return to this strange body that you thought you saw somewhere on the deck the shape of a tiny white rabbit. You blink and look again. It's your imagination. Instead, leaping overboard is a insect-like creature. 4 arms, sharp, wicked blades held in 3 of the arms, slashing towards you. Closes in on you. Take your turn.
As he sees this standing bipedal insect coming at him, he just turns around and and goes to scream, but instead of a scream, a huge roar comes out of his throat, and he goes in rage.
Nice.
And then he's going to attack with his fists that are right in front of him right now.
Oh.
With claws extending, not knowing how to retract them, he's just going to go directly for him. Oh, I didn't see he's out there on the field.
All right.
Not used to his own body.
Okay, so
He
this
misses.
insect is missing an eye. One of its sockets is completely empty. It's just a black void. But it seems to see all right because it moves aside from your clawed hands. That misses by a few inches. But it does retaliate. It has these wicked, strangely curved blades. One in each hand slashes out at you, one from the upper hands and one from its smaller lower hands. But you're just as agile, so no blood spills. Brings us to Viz. Zaminius. What are we seeing on board the deck? What are the hands that you're looking down on as you stand there dazed and confused?
As Zaminius looks down, he sees hands that are much skinnier than his hands were. He was never a particularly big guy, but these hands and these arms in particular, they look pretty underfed. The skin tone, instead of a beautiful rich brown, they're kind of like gray almost, and almost as if like they've been in dirt and grunge for so long that the skin themselves has kind of absorbed that. They're dry and full of scars and almost like scars and maybe healed boils and things like that, like lots of suffering these hands have gone through. The nails under the nails are dirty, which is something he would never allow. And from the outside, what other people would see, they would see a gaunt, short figure. If someone said petite, you'd think, oh, that person is naturally skinny, but this person is clearly somewhat underfed and has gone through some suffering. They have a young face, but the skin is also, again, kind of uncared for and scarred. And beneath the eyes on the cheeks, there's striations, like lines almost going through the cheeks that look like whiskers almost. And there's a rat-like effect to this whole person's face. There's a shock of dirty red hair coming out. And yeah, they're just small, sort of almost creepily rodent-like in a way. Even though their face is young, they don't. At a closer look, the marks that you might take for wrinkles are again like scars, healed boils, sort of, and other things marring the skin. So that's what you see from the outside.
Cool. What is the body that you should be seeing when you look down on yourself?
The body that Zaminius should be seeing and that you guys should be seeing is a person actually kind of similar age as this body. Young, maybe about 18 to 20, but instead of gray skin, it would be beautiful, like rich brown skin that you can tell has just had only the finest elixirs used on it. So moisturized that it almost seems to be glowing off the skin. They would be taller for sure, well fed, though not particularly fit or muscular, but just super well fed, with a big sort of rich afro, as well as flames. When you look closer, you'd see like what looks almost like dancing flames on their shoulders and coming up the back of their neck. That doesn't seem to burn them, and their eyes would be glowing with this sort of internal fire. Yeah, that's what you should see. That's what Zaminius expects to see when he looks down, but it's not that at all. So it's basically a person that looks Like you can tell they've lived in luxury their whole life and have enjoyed it.
Nice. So, the last memory is connected to that vision of that memory of yourself. And the last memory that you have is waking up in a clammy sweat amidst fine satin sheets and soft pillows. Yet another nightmare has plagued your dreams. This time, dreams of an obsidian eye and colliding stars. The dreams are so vivid that your body's still trembling, while the porter that has woken you stands meekly at your gilded door, diverting their eyes to hide their fear and embarrassment. The porter fears something else, though, more, for him to have even found the courage to wake you from your sleep. Because witnessing your mortal distress is, of course, highly embarrassing, yet he stands and insists.
What is it? What is it?
Forgive me, my impudence. Forgive my impudence in waking you, God Prince Zumenius. May all the descendants be flayed.
Out with it. Enough with the pleasantries.
Yes,
what do you want?
You remember you instructed me to alert you should your brother arrive? Well, Prince Atreides and his retinue have been stalled at the gates by Taliesin and the elite Krav Maga. He's less than pleased, my prince, as you foresaw.
Of course. No, you've done the correct thing. And Zumenius kind of gets up and he's wearing this beautiful silk sleeping robe. And he gets up and he says, ready my wardrobe. I'll go welcome him. Of course he will come in the middle of the night.
It is the morning, sir. It is the morning. Yes, my lord, my gracious lord. I called you sir. Please do not flay me. Flay me if you like, sir. Yes, but I will do that forthwith. And he rushes off to assist in that task.
These blasted visions, and he kind of is stroking his eyebrow, and getting ready to go.
Not long afterwards, you find yourself in the parlor of the royal chambers with a host of servants fussing over you. So tell us what this would look like, this parlor life. Bring this parlor to life for us as you try and hide your hands that tremble still.
So am I in like the sort of personal parlor, or is this like the grand chamber where everyone would be?
No, it would be not your private parlor. It would be like a side room of the throne room and such, but it would be a parlor that other people that were favored amongst the high nobles would be allowed to come and spend time with you if they were invited, where you would relax and talk over things and have drinks and such things in this place.
Okay. All right, cool. So basically, white marble, pure white marble floors that go up into intricately carved columns. There are large windows that look out onto probably the most beautiful garden you've ever seen, with these beautiful, rich, alien to us plants that are blooming and almost look kind of flame-like, a lot of red coloring going through them. On the side, of course, there's almost something like a wine fountain, and occasionally guests would go over and dip a little stone bowls and take a sip of the most delicious ambrosial wine they've ever tasted. And in the room, there's no real chairs. It's mostly pillows, large pillows and seating arrangements. Most people are seated on the floor if they're sitting, and you would see in the corners plenty of servants. All of the guests, the guests who are being treated with honor, if you take a close look, most of them have some sort of elemental situation, mostly flame. Some people have maybe their fingernails are like dark black ember with little smoke coming out, and they have glowing eyes. Some people have no hair at all and just have a head of flame, and others you might see maybe have skin that looks like diamond or stone. One person has clouds for hair, for example, and as you look around, you'll see that the servants are None of that. It's a lot of people that look like goblinoids, maybe some humans, creatures like that, but it's basically the picture of luxury and repose.
The gilded doors burst open, and your elder brother Atreides storms in, flanked by battle-hardened veterans. A woman that you recognize, not a friend of yours, Merset, your brother's Earth Genasi soothsayer, and Kia, the head of your brother's own elite Aarakocran bodyguard. You know that your brother is not happy. His eyes glow like burning embers, and his handsome face is disfigured with rage. He's striding straight towards you after what you know to be an inglorious defeat. A defeat that you have conspired to occur. Tell us what's going through Zom's mind as your brother stomps towards you.
Yeah, well, Zom he pulls himself up, raises his chin, and as they're kind of approaching each other, you can see they look strikingly similar, but so not alike. You can tell that this is his older brother. They look similar, but his older brother is way more handsome, stronger, bigger, and more masculine seeming than Zominius. And Zom, in his mind, it's that feeling you have when you know you did the right thing, and you feel righteous about it, but you're kind of dreading the confrontation that's about to happen. So he's kind of bracing himself, even though he's really trying to not show that on his face. He's trying to keep very nonchalant, but you can see he's hiding his hands, like you said. There, he's folded inside of his robe, and he's just waiting to hear what he has to say. Taking a deep breath. Brother.
Zozo, you meddling brat! The legions of fire have had their wings clipped. Our opportunity to set the corruption of the Tetrarchy alight spent like a candle. Our infantry cut off from the north. The pass collapsed a day before our arrival, mocked by our enemies from the cliffs. Full tide cancelled their visit to the air territories our assassins left empty-handed. And guess what, little brother?
You call me a brat, brother. It is not my ambition.
Well deserved.
It is not my ambition. You think I am a brat?
Dare you? Do you know what this mysterious messenger came bearing?
Tell me, since you know all.
A seal, signed in your authority, ordered my air force to return home. And they did, with not a drop of blood spilled.
And you say that as though it's a bad thing. Do you wish to see blood spilled so badly? Do you wish to throw our world into chaos over your petty ambitions so fully that you do not even celebrate peace? I will not apologize for preserving the peace that we have endured for the last 100 years.
So you admit it? This was your doing?
I will admit it, and proudly.
Then explain yourself. Mother's crown is heavy, little brother. Why do you stand against me? You think you can bear the burden better than I? Just at this moment,
unlike you.
As you're having this conversation, the side door opens and your little brother, Vulcanus, comes in through the door, his body gleaming with sweat from morning training. And he's kind of wiping himself off with a towel, listening as the conversation continues.
Yeah, you see Zominius' eyes glance over to him, and he draws himself up a little straighter, even though he looks maybe a little bit more agitated, a little bit more nervous. He says, unlike you, everything I do is not with the intention of earning our mother's crown. Perhaps I'm simply interested in sparing the lives of thousands and the suffering of even more. Have you thought about that? Have you considered that perhaps there are reasons to act in this world besides power, Atreides?
From behind him, the Genasi soothsayer, Merset, kind of leaps in front, hissing, "Lies! The fool has gone beyond his simple talent of sympathy. He unwittingly writes the future!" Your brother shuts her down. "Silence, Merset! No one has given you leave to make accusations. I, on the other hand, am air warrior, firstborn scion of God Queen Narkakui. I accuse you, Zomenius. You have used the ashes of the ancestor. You have amplified your sympathy with sacred ashes of the first sage. Do you deny it, Zozo? Explain yourself, brother. Explain why you betrayed me!
You speak these falsehoods. I have done no such thing. And he kind of he bears himself up and trying to be offensive instead of defensive. You are so upset that your war has not happened, that you would claim I have defiled our ancient ancestors' remains? What proof do you have of such?
Mersat screams again. It is known! Your selfish kindness is a dagger in the heart of the revolution.
Silence, witch!
The Exodus will tear the earth open beneath your feet, and all that you have sought to protect will... Enough! Air Warrior Atreides is furious. I tried to love you, Zomenius. I tried my very best in my own way. I silenced those who spoke at your back, accusing your weak will and lack of ambition for a focus on the art, a focus that I invented so the court would not mock you so. Everything has come to you without effort, even your art. Despite your vanity, your laziness, I did not take you for such a fool. The day you chose to show some spine, you breathed in the ancestors' ashes. You foresaw and counted my every move. You have stifled a war. Do not congratulate yourself for this temporary peace, little brother. Do you know what you have done? How have you been sleeping lately, little brother?
Silence. Zomenia says nothing. He's a little bit cowed. He doesn't have anything to say. He just looks down. Still looks defiant, but he has nothing to say.
As this silence hangs, a figure unknown to you, dressed in dark, elegant clothes cut from a cloth in a style completely foreign to anything you've seen before, with a white collared shirt and some type of dark tie at the neck, steps forward, removing a pair of dark spectacles, their lenses as dark as obsidian. Prince Zomenius Solari IV, your dreams are destabilizing the future throughout the realms of the multiverse. That cannot continue. Under the jurisdiction of the All Creators of the Celestial Bureau and by the authority of the Interdimensional Normalization Corps, you are hereby under arrest for immediate normalization. Any rights you might have had here are null and void. The stranger takes a gem, a chunk of obsidian from their pocket and tosses it onto the floor. Clink, clink, clink. And your soul begins to leak from your body like dark ink, and you're absorbed into the obsidian jar. You see from outside your body that you fall limp, standing above yourself for a moment before oblivion, and now you stand in a body that's not your own, upon this ship rocked by chaos. Please make an intelligence save.
Okay.
The magic number. The magic number.
The flame has not failed me.
As you kind of are standing there in shock, there's a moment where you think that the figure of a woman is walking towards you. Not any woman. The most terrifying woman that you've ever met in your life. Your grandmother. You blink and look again. It's a figment of your imagination. It's a pirate, a reaver, leaping aboard the ship through the smoke, through the chaos, swinging their blade at you, with a strange, seems to be like a helicopter type helmet on the head, kind of floating 5 foot just off the deck, with a curved sword, trying to attack you. But go ahead and move where you want to be.
Move right about here.
Go ahead and take your turn.
So the Reaver is, are they near me? I don't see them.
Sorry, I think that should be showing now. Is it showing now?
Okay. Yeah.
Did I select the right one?
Yeah, looks like it.
Okay.
So Minas actually is going to move a little bit forward when he sees that reaver, and he's going to. Okay, so he's gonna stay where he is then, and turn to the reaver that's right next to him and say, "Your hair is incredibly stupid," and he's gonna cast vicious mockery on him as he feels like the sympathy, some of that connection, that emotional connection that he was born with, and perhaps was enhanced when he inhaled the ancestors' ashes. That scorn almost becomes a visceral wave of something as he casts the spell upon this creature.
Nice.
Yeah.
You see his face buckle, and he kind of looks up at the blades that are keeping him hovering off the deck. He's like, "It's been a long time to make these work, you know."
Wasted hours. That's his turn.
Awesome. Thank you for your patience, Win. It's your turn, man. It's your turn.
Hey.
As you look down at your hands, tell us what we're seeing.
Well, their first order of business is that they're terrible. They're sort of this very, they're like green and greenish brown sticks sort of stuck to each other with these clicky clacky little finger. It's an arm, but it's like the muscles don't seem to be where you don't see muscle. It's hard chitinous, buggy sort of texture, and then there's like these weird. Oh boy, my mouth has like these like clicky clacky things like in front of it. My mouth is too much mouth, and my eyes seem to be a little. I'm sort of maybe getting a little more peripheral vision than I used to. My eyes are kind of seem not to. The perspective is all over. And I can look back, and I can see there's the body is sort of. It seems like I'm kind of standing there's too much. There's abdomens and there's thoraxes. There's things. There's things that shouldn't be there. This is not how biology people's works.
What those that are seeing you on the deck? What would the full view of your body look like to them?
Well, so it would be. I mean, it would have a very, very mantis-like. Apparently, there's someone who looks just like me fighting, which makes me a little concerned all of a sudden. But a very mantis-like head, little antennae. It's a brownish green color. You can see as it's startled, actually, the skin seems to be changing colors a little bit in response, like some sort of frightened reaction. Wearing just kind of a vest, two swords sling at his hips, curved, nasty-looking things.
All right. And what should you be seeing as you look down at your body?
It should be a reasonable person is what it should look like. Someone who has, taste and fashion, and someone who interacts with human beings. I should be seeing someone I saw sort of tall, elegant, on the palish side. She'd be an elf, so she'd have elven ears. I should. Oh nope, there's no. Oh boy, no ears at all. Apparently, yep. Nope, should have nice pointy ears there. Hair should be done up nice, trim and proper. We're wearing a uniform, actually, because, business needs to be taken care of. But someone very put together, very proper, very good posture. No hairs out of place.
Nice.
Glasses.
As you recall what you should look like, you're connected to your last memory. And with that memory comes an intense heat as magma-heated steam pours from the passage cooling vents. And these do very little to stave off the icy chill of this heart-shaped chunk of obsidian that you and your intern, Penny Denier, are rushing towards the stolen Spelljammer, where your ragtag group of naval cadets await your arrival. Before your very eyes, icicles grow, creeping up the trusty 10-foot pole that the pair of you are using to push this levitating artifact known as the Ice Heart. We did it, Dr. Tappenham. We got out with the heart alive. I can see the alien moth from here.
Stow the chatter. Keep moving.
So as you're pushing this stolen artifact towards this stolen Spelljammer, describe the scene that's unfolding around it outside. You're running through you've run nearly through 3 miles of steaming magma, with the fear that a dragon is about to appear behind you in any moment. So as you're escaping from these vents to arrive at this moth-like Spelljammer, tell us what we see and what's going through your head.
The main thing going through my head is that this is insane. This is crazy. I cannot be doing this. I am not the one who should be in this. I should not be doing this. This is not for me. But outside, so the inside, very chaotic. The outside, very chaotic. There are all sorts of ships flying overhead. The sky is dusk. It is stars just barely visible. There seem to be ships flying this way and that. There are huge plant-like tendrils made of crystal shooting into the air, writhing and grasping everywhere. And on the ground in front of me is this ship, and the ship is like swarming with teenagers. There's a cargo bay open. There's a few of them who, are not paying attention, sitting down. There's a few of them who are standing up straight. There's 1 or 2 of them looking around on corners. There's a few with a pallet trying to come and help. But there are these uniformed young teens who look like they're doing their best to do their best to try to do something, and they're trusting me. They look very relieved when they see me.
So the next job, is to secure this artifact that you're stealing beneath this Spelljammer. How does that unfold?
Right, you two over here. All right, you've got the ropes. Yes, the hook. There's a hook on the ship, right? We found a hook. Yeah, there it is. Grab that. You two, grab it. All right. Tether. There should be hard points here and here. Tether that up. All right, wrap it down. You two. All right, grab. Work together. We did these knots. All right. This was year 1. You're in the Navy. Tie them together. All right. Get it. We need to loop it. We need a basket. It needs to hang. It needs to be secure as we lift off.
How would you evaluate your young cadets' efforts to follow your instructions? Are they responding well beneath the pressure?
They're responding.
They're responding.
They're doing well in respond. They know what they're doing. But they are under orders to essentially commit treason right now, and they are very understandably nervous, and so they're doing their best. They're putting their faith in me. Someone tries to tie a knot and they fail it. I'll put my hands on and I'll tie it with them. It's like, remember, underneath, go. You need to remember that we did do it again, right? Rabbit goes over. Okay, there we go. All right, good. Over there.
All right. So when the Ice Heart is finally secured beneath the alien moth Spelljammer, you return to the helm. And you feel the unpleasant sensation of pins and needles once more spread out over your body, under your skin, and the sensation is most intense all the way down your spine. It even reaches up into your brain stem as your awareness slowly expands from your eyesight, and you kind of become the moth. You can feel all the footsteps as though they were walking through your body. Anytime you focus on those footsteps, you're there seeing who's walking through the passages of the ship. It's really hard to resist the urge to beat your own arms to get it flying up. That's not necessary because the ship responds to your mental commands, but the urge is still there. The ship trembles and lifts inches off the ground, and Penny, your intern, barks at the young crew, pointing them to the workstations to get them properly working to lighten your mental load and make navigating the Spelljammer a much lighter affair. And off you go, above the city of Duskveld. And you see the giant crystalline vines that you described tearing through that hangar have sprouted from the earth, laying ruin to large parts of your home. There's a part of that city that you see as you can kind of like look down as the moth itself, and it's just in a complete state of ruin. It breaks your heart. Tell us what that place is, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, and why.
It must be the school. It must be the building. I taught in that building just 3 weeks ago, and everything is come down. We were just living, we were just learning, and the ships fell out of the sky. There was battles, there was crashes. The war happened in this street. Those forces came through. Slowly, one building fell, and then another. And what is there to return to, even if we win this thing?
So your moth wings upwards, wobbling through a swarm of alien ships hovering high above the city. You follow the winding path of the giant vines towards Wildspace. You've almost made it past when one of the enemy jammers notices your trajectory and the package you're carrying. It swoops in close. You receive an audible message. To your surprise, it's Elven. The accent is thick. Harsh. It's Elven spoken with hatred.
Pilot Tiger Moth, why are you abandoning your post? What do you carry beneath your moth?
This is not the correct. This is not the correct code channel. This is ship ID 24683. We're just toting. We're just bringing more energy to the mothership. The mother moth. 10-4.
All right, go ahead and make a deception roll for me. Your cover within the ship is going to give you advantage on that roll, though.
I gotta roll second one then. Pardon me. That was a 14. Come on now.
There's like a psychic static, and you have the sensation that all of the moths kind of like swoop and turn around, and you're forced to like push spell energies. It's like it's sucking the magical energies from your spell, are forced to like push it into the Spelljammer to get it moving faster. You surge forward knowing that you're being tailed, willing your Spelljammer towards the goal. You can see where the vines come together at a single dark bud. There's an aura of light surrounding the bud, pulsating like a heartbeat. Your ragtag crew have been pushed to the edge of their nerves. They all know that they can feel the tension as these enemy ships seem to have sensed something is out of place. They look to you expectantly for instructions. Tell us what happens next.
All right, we're here. We're gonna have one chance on this. They didn't buy my cover story. All right, two of you, man the ballistas. All right, gold squad, down. We need to lower. I'm gonna lower the ship. We need to make sure that we need to land right in the center of this. But if we've done the calculations right, if we place it just in the center, we'll feed back the energy, and then we'll stop. We just man. All right, we're lowering down now. She's very, very uncertain, but not used to command. But she's doing her best, and they're not used to taking commands. So it's again chaos erupts as she gives these commands.
Despite the chaos, you see that your students they fall into line. They take up their positions on the guns. They do their very best as the ship begins to be rocked by strikes from these alien ships. Ballista crashing into its walls, and they fire back, holding them off as you lower down the ice heart in place. And you can feel what's happening around you, and ice begins to ripple over this dark bud and just seal it, encase it completely. Your best student has come into the helm and pulled your attention away from the outside of the ship, and you can see the worry on his face. Penny's there behind him, a stone glowing in her hand. Dr. Carey, I've just received a message from Duskveld. Sifweir has emerged from his lair, ma'am. In his full dragon form, ma'am. He's going to the Underfelt bunker directly in person, ma'am. He's howling for your head. He says we're all thieves, that we've doomed Duskveld pilfering the Ice Heart. It gets worse, ma'am. His twin sister is with him, supporting his claims, ma'am.
There's...
Oh,
we did do those things.
That does not reassure him. His face kind of falls. You know that one dragon thug lord is bad, but two agreeing with each other is a disaster. Are there any comforting words you issue at the moment, or is that what you leave it at? That's what we did?
No, she sort of she shivers as the helm sort of prickles, kind of untingle for as she sort of separates her sensation. This is what we knew would happen. We promised. I gave you the option. I said I could not drag any of you into it. You all agreed to be here. This is what we accept. We're going to complete this mission, and then we're going to get out of here. We won't stand. We will not fight. We will find a way to free. But if this is the consequences of our actions, this is what the Navy asks of us. We're doing what needs to be done.
Penelope, your intern, very quietly behind your star student, hands you the glowing stone that she's holding in her hand, and she says, "It's grandfather. I mean, it's the commander. You know that this is a sending stone. And when you lift it to your ear, you hear the commander's normally doddering voice, suppressing pain. You're surprised he still lives after the first brutal waves of the invasion, but you're glad it is so. Carrie, I owe you so many apologies. I owe you so much. Thanks.
No, sir. No.
It goes beyond measure, Carrie. What you've done, what you've achieved, your bravery. I regret not telling you about... He cuts himself off. He doesn't finish that sentence, and his voice hardens. You're right. There's no time for regret. Carrie, you've given Duskveld 100 years of grace. It'll be 100 years of dire suffering. You'll be the villain, Carrie. I cannot protect you if you remain here. I must ensure your safety. Ensure you cannot be found. You cannot be recognized. You must finish what you've begun. What is 100 years in the span of the universe? Find the source of this blight and destroy it. Save Duskveld. And at that moment, Penny Denier, she takes something from her breast pocket as she whispers, "Thank you for your service, Dr. Tappenham." Clink, clink, clink. An obsidian gem comes to rest beside you, and your soul begins to link from you, like dark ink. And you're absorbed into this obsidian jar, and your body falls limp as you watch yourself from above. Right.
We just like to see my face as a very, very slack-jawed, confused. The last thing.
And then now you're standing in this insect-like body, a body not your own. Make that intelligence saving throw. And I must say, of all the intelligence saving throws, this is the most important one.
This is the one that I'm going to fail, Ms. Wizard Ma'am. Hey, all right, 24.
No problem. Amongst the chaos, amongst the smoke, there is a moment where this behemoth of the sea surges up beside the boat. It is larger, 10 times larger than the boat itself. 10 tentacles at least. Each tentacle could easily crush a man in an instant. The crack in itself, is that what is happening here? You blink and it's not. It's gone. It is, in fact, the Reavers who close in upon you. One has a goldfish bowl as a head You can see the brain inside is exposed, and there's water in there. There's liquid in there. And another one is wearing a bloody wedding dress, and they swarm towards you. So go ahead and take your turn.
She starts wiggling her fingers and grabbing for some sort of object to hold, and it's not there immediately. And so I think what she's going to do is she sort of pats her body like she's looking for something, and she finds those two swords. And so she draws the two swords and just starts flailing them in a very inelegant way.
Okay.
Oh, I see the list. Okay, Goldfish Head is definitely the one that I have a moral objection to.
Okay.
So she's going to swing these swords at Goldfish Bowl Brain.
Nice.
All right, that's a hit. So with one hand, she slashes Goldfish Head. And she looks surprised to realize that she is swinging two, and there's actually effect. Like the one sword comes, and the other sword comes, and she looks like she's trying to keep out of the way of the swords, but they are fighting, and so she makes another swing at the Goldfish Bullhead. It's my offhand attack. But her confusion outwits her muscle memory.
The blade is actually cracked, the goldfish bowl, and you see a look of fear, shock, horror, surprise in the Reaver's face for a moment. The other two Reavers, the one in the wedding dress, is going to Axel. He is a very hard creature to hit despite his size. He is surprisingly agile. The last Reaver has kind of like very shiny, reflective skin. And he's going to take issue with Ximenius. But the effect of his insult, we've got them mixed up there, but let's just switch them around. That was Propeller Head.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So Propeller Head took issue with the insults from Ximenius as the other charges up onto the upper deck to support the Hadozi and go after Ace. Tripping over much of the debris, he's lucky not to stab himself through the face, let alone hit someone as nimble as Ace. Bringing us back to Ace's turn. There is a development in the battle itself. Another bandit leaps upon the deck, joining the fray. It's another helicopter-headed Reaver leaps onto the deck. Ace, take your turn.
Right. Ace is. I'm dancing around, and I'm going to just stab again with rapier at the Hadozi. See, that's not going to hit though. I'm distracted by the new arrival at the Hadozi. I miss uncharacteristically. What happened? Must be this new body.
As you're wondering about that, the Hadozi wastes no time in trying to take as much advantage as possible of your distraction, stabbing at your gut several times. And one of them actually cuts into you. Axel.
Axel keeps his focus on the Thri-Kreen in front of him and goes to, he says, "Come here," and then goes to grapple him.
All right. So we're doing an opposed check, yeah?
Yeah. What do you want me to...
I think you roll check, right?
Yeah.
You got him.
He looks down. He like got him in a bear hug. Looks down and goes, "You're not going anywhere."
You can move him now that you're grappled, half your speed, if you so wished.
Could I throw him overboard in the same thing?
Hell yeah.
Okay, yeah. I will move him to the edge, and I think I'll probably take an opportunity attack here, but that's okay. I'm going for it.
You can. He's going. Okay, yeah, you will get an opportunity attack from the Reaver, who's standing behind you. The Thryking comes with you. I'm going to give him a dexterity saving throw to try and like cling on to the side of the railing.
Okay.
I'm going to make it the difficulty of your athletics check though, so he's got to roll a 21.
All right. Let's. Yes.
He's completely bamboozled by being grabbed by this mammoth leonine figure and is dragged far too swiftly to grab with any of his arms onto the side of the deck. He's now dangling above Wildspace. At your back, though, the wedding dress guy.
Come to party.
But he's completely missed you.
Yeah.
It's a dodge fest for Axel. The Thrycreen is... You want to let him go?
Heck yeah, I'm tossing him overboard.
He just kind of like drifts off. Ooh, slowly. His little mandible protesting.
Is that what I look like?
Zaminius, it should be your turn.
Okay. So Zaminius is now, he's starting to get a sense of what the hell is actually going on. The same guy that is attacking him seems to be with one team, and then they're all attacking these other much more disparate looking group of people. So he is going to move here, kind of try to move away, but he doesn't disengage. He's going to take the attack of opportunity.
I'm not sure which one is at this stage, but one's going to take one.
It's blow.
Oh!
Ouchie.
He's still highly offended by what you said about his...
Yeah, actually, as that... Oh, he'll take it. Wow. He takes that.
He swoops down and the scimitar cracks into the side of your jaw.
Yeah. Okay, well, he's gonna move away. Cry out. And he moves to the center. There, he is going to dig deep into himself, and you'll see like kind of 4 little flames sort of appear around him as he says, "Sweet flame, bless these around me," and he is going to cast Bless on as a level 2 spell on everyone. I believe he's within 30 feet. Oh no, you're just outside the range, unfortunately. So he'll only cast it as. He's gonna move here then. Sorry, instead. On everyone, and that's his turn,
All right.
Including himself.
Helicopter Head is gonna follow you, and try and finish the job he started. But he's still emotionally hurt, and he's not really very well focused. It's like he's flying in loopy patterns now as he keeps on looking up at his helicopter rotating blades, trying to figure out if they're cool or not.
They're not.
They're not cool.
They're not cool. I'm sorry.
From above the deck, one of the other crew shoots a flintlock pistol at Helicopter Head, but it explodes in his own face. You just hear it go off, and he just collapses. He's blown his own brains out in this misfiring pistol.
Oh my god.
The other Reaver that newly joined the battle closes in on the scimitar-wielding Thrycreen. stabbing him in the side.
No.
Bringing us to Dr. Carey's turn.
All right, so helicopter head is all up in my grill right now.
A new helicopter, the second helicopter head, yes. It looks kind of like a
helicopter been supported. All right, great. So she swings. She's got her swords flailing around, and all of a sudden, her little spindly bug fingers start doing a little dance, and she realizes, I've got there's some spells where I don't need my book all that much. And she sort of just drops a scimitar, and I'm going to, and a mist of cold and ice forms around her finger, and she flicks it at the person who is just chopping at her so rudely. And so I cast Frostbite on the new support, and that was a fail. So that
failed Constitution save though, so that's good for you, right?
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, yes. The save failed. So that means this cold sort of wraps around this person, hurting the icicles form. It's like they came from the ice heart. Still sort of somehow I'm bringing that back in and zapping this creature. So it takes 5 damage, and also it sort of freezes. Oops, I did that to myself.
I can remove that for you.
Let's do that. There. And this helicopter head is now finding it much harder to move around, so they have disadvantage on the next attack.
All right.
Nice.
As that happens, yet another Reaver swings aboard. This one seems to be a fellow bowlhead, a larger fish swimming in this one instead of a small goldfish. It looks like a more tropical fish, much larger in size. And they seem to be at the prow of the boat. Not far from where Axel just tossed the Thrycreen overboard. The Reaver in the wedding dress.
Right.
Makes the most of his distracted attention with a nasty slice to the knee. Ace.
Right. So Ace is. I'm not liking this. Not at all. I'm gonna turn to the one that just attacks me. The wedding dress. And I'm going to slash at them. Break. Let's see what. Okay. Then I don't get to apply a sneak attack because there's 2 of them.
Interesting.
Okay, that was not right.
Okay, so that would be 6 damage. I can do that manually. So
Okay, I was gonna roll it again. Okay, yeah.
you're hitting the.
Then no, the wedding dress.
Okay.
I slash at their. I'm gonna slash at their eyes, and while I'm doing that, I'm using my fancy footwork, my swashbuckler ability, to move without getting an opportunity to go around and position myself in front of the Hadozi. So I'm only fighting one at a time.
Okay. Nice.
And that's it.
Hadozi spins around to face you.
Say hello, let's dance.
Slashing as you go past.
Oh, damn.
Jesus.
It riposts your blow with 2 neat stabs that bring Ace low, dropping to the deck.
Okay.
Fall down.
A new explosion rocks the top of the ship. It's a near full impact on the captain, the woman marshalling the troops at the center of the boat. She can barely stand, and with her last breaths, she says, "Defend the boat! Don't give in! Don't give up!" And she collapses. You're not sure if she's dead or unconscious, but It's just you guys now to defend whatever's left of the ship in this swarming pirate horde. Axel.
So Axel didn't hear, doesn't even pay attention, doesn't even hear that the commander goes down or anything. He's in his own world, just in a blind rage. And even through it all, after fighting the Thry Queen, still diving around, there's one thing he did notice that came through the rage, was that he felt a hilt hit the back of his head. So he puts his hand up behind him and then draws a great sword out, and turns around at the goldfish reaver and takes a swipe at it.
Nice. Ooh.
Tell us what that looks like.
So as he draws the great sword, he you could just see like his like whole body almost energized. His hair starts standing on end. It gets like it's flowing outwards from him as he just brings the sword down over his head again, almost like in an imitation of the exact swing that he did on Manike, and just goes right through him, straight down the middle.
Nice. Meanwhile, this Thrycreen kind of flailing arms just drifts off into wild space. As he drifts off, his last spiteful act is to draw this kind of curved throwing dagger and just hurl it back at the deck at you. It not only misses, it hits the guy who you just cleaved his skull into two parts. He's like, "Ah, damn it!" Drifts off some more. All right, let's remove him from combat. And who did you just murder exactly?
The goldfish one that was
the second
standing
goldfish,
there.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's going to run into the middle of the fray and then roar directly at this guy right next to him. But actually, he'll just roar at the whole vicinity in general.
Helicopter head is like, I've decided they're quite cool, actually. And just stabs at Zemenius. There's no conviction in his words, though. The second helicopter fellow, he's like, what did they say, Bert? His freezing limbs just so slow that Dr. Carey can easily just move from side to side. It's like child's play.
The system works.
Zemenius.
So do we have our equipment on these bodies?
You have a weapon. The main weapon or spell channeling device or what have you that you imagine your character would have. But any other equipment is, well, the armor that you would imagine the character would have.
Right. So just weapon and armor, basically. Yes. And or focus. Okay. In that case, Zemenius will just whisper, "Awaken," to Ace and cast Healing Ward on him.
Cool.
So he'll do that, and then he will. We got this real fast. And then he is. Then he's going to do that. Where? No. There you go. Ooh, max roll, nice. And then after seeing the massive, like, cat-like creature, he's not even sure. This is just like he's never seen anything like that. carve one of these people, raiders attacking them in two. They'll say, "Ooh, I like you," and give you a bardic inspiration.
Nice.
And that is his turn.
All right. Your heart kind of falls, although enemies are falling. There just seems to be an endless tide of these reavers, and another helicopter head arrives on board at the edge. Yeah, Bert. What did he say? Dr. Carey, it's your turn.
So, first of all, I want to look around for a second. So there's two factions fighting. There's a bunch of bubblehead reaver people. There's us. There's like ship. There's like crew of the ship around.
As you wonder about that, there's like this memory there. There is something there like, I should know this. I should know who the factions are. And you're able to, as you think upon that, recognize that the Hadozis and the Reavers are enemies, and that the others, the rest of the crew, you are fighting together, and you can't remember the details. It's just like this wall of fog in your mind, but there is this knowledge within that fog that you are in this together with those very different looking characters for sure, but you're on the same side. You do have that knowledge as you think about it.
And they're not near us right now. They're sort of, I guess we heard a gun sort of go poorly.
That would be like a nameless crew member as such. They're fighting. Yeah. There are more fights on other parts of the ship. One tried to help, accidentally shot themselves in the face. The captain's kind of...
There's not a convenient pool of NPCs that I can boss around to sort of hop into our assistance right now.
You can try. Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's let me ponder at that. In the meanwhile, I'll let my mighty GM moderate this. But what the first thing that Dr. Carey really wants to do is look around and say, "Can anyone what the hell is going on? Can anyone fill me in on something that was happening?"
Does anyone respond?
I have no idea.
Axel roars at him right next to him.
That's not helpful, but thank you.
I think we need to deal with these ruffians first before we can even. And he's like looking around, and you can just see he's totally overwhelmed. Like they're fucking floating in space. He's like, yeah. Once that he starts letting that knowledge in, you can see like fear taking over him. So he doesn't say anything else.
You get sort of like commiserating on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I kill these guys. It's easy.
Good. Thank you. So I guess I would like to try, if you're willing to let us maybe do the loosey-goosey rules thing, to try to see if I can't roll some sort of check to get some crew folks to kind of rush in. This is the front of the battle. Muster shot on this person, or come in and can we get any help here?
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll. Give me your best charisma check. You can be a commanding voice and do it with intimidation. You can be Braveheart-like and inspire the troops with persuasion. You can even try to pull wool over their eyes and tell them that there's money in it for them. However you want to do it, you decide, and I'll tell you how hard it's going to be, depending on what you say.
Great. Well, intimidation sounds great. So she will pull out. I mean, so I'm saying she. Carrie, thinking of herself as a she, in this bug form, she sort of they take in a big breath and bellows out, "Soldiers, muster here!" And you can hear her voice crack. He's just like, my voice is very chitiny. Soldiers to battle! And I'm gonna try to boss them with my intimidation check.
All right, every 3.
Every
3 you get over 10. That's how many people you muster.
Oh, okay. Wow. It seems like I missed my roll here, so let's try it again.
All right.
18. 3, all right.
All right. Two of the crew move in
nice.
to respond to your muster. You can go ahead and make 2 +5 attacks against enemies of your choice. With representing the crew that are attacking on your behalf.
I'm just going to roll my scimitar, which is +4, and you can add +5 if that makes sense.
That works.
Well, you know, I'm going to be honest. I'm the inspiring leader here, so I'm surely they come to my rescue. So one is going to go after a support person here. So there's an extra +1 to that.
The pure roll without the +2, which is a 13.
Oh right, yes, that's right. But a +1 because of +5, so
it will still be a hit.
Okay. Are they rolling d6s for damage?
They've got scimitars actually. Funnily enough. So.
Oh boy! All right, I guess they're rolling. So probably they should get +1 damage on top of this based on my bonuses.
Okay, so yes, let's say they've got that's 5 damage that they've dealt there.
Okay. And I guess the other person I've mustered is going to attack the other person right near me, which if I'm sorry, I still can't see the map, but I can assume that's the helicopter head.
You just hit
goldfish number 1. That's
goldfish hit.
Yes. Where are they in the initiative order? Goldfish, there we go. All right.
I did add the damage. I added the 1 extra damage, so yeah, go ahead and roll the 4.
All right. Oops, and again, I shouldn't be rolling with bless, but there we go. So that's a 12 plus 5 is 17.
Hits again.
Right, good form.
Ooh, nice.
All right, tell us what it looks like as these crew members are mustered to your call. They come in and swoop in and take this guy out.
Are they wearing the same sort of black, strange outfits and sunglasses that we saw before?
They are a motlier-looking crew, actually. They're a motlier-looking crew.
Are we talking tricorns and poofy shirts?
Exactly.
All right, great. Exactly one person wearing a tricorn and another person wearing a poofy shirt comes to my rescue, flailing their scimitars, flanking me on both sides, hacking and spinning, and just I guess one shot chops one down and the other takes a wound. And I guess if I got a free action for objects, Dr. Carey says, "Oh well, these seem very convenient," and she'll pick up that scimitar that she dropped.
Nice. So you're holding 3 now.
No, I'm holding. I had 2. Oh, I guess I said I needed a free hand. Oh, okay. So actually, this is good. Yeah. So I said she dropped one because she was holding a scimitar in each hand and needed a free hand. So she dropped one to cast her spell, and then all of a sudden, something she didn't seem to notice in the battle is that there's a whole other pair of arms that she just seems to have all of a sudden noticed. And all of a sudden, some little teeny tiny arms springing from sort of the middle of her waist sort of reaches down and picks up the scimitar that she dropped. Oh, no. What is this?
Nice.
Okay, that's my turn.
Excellent. So as that happens, landing on board the ship is another of these reavers dressed in a bloody wedding dress. Looks to be the match of the one higher up on board. And they kind of rush down the deck towards the howling sound of the lion and these other troops. It takes them a double move to actually get there, as the deck is littered with debris. But there is one, the goldfish-headed one. The one with the reflective skin comes around again to attack Ace, foiling his desire to fight one-on-one.
As he reaches out to take his attack, Zominius reaches out with a hand and somehow pulls something from him as he casts silvery barbs, forcing him to re-roll that attack. And I don't think he gets advantage. He just gets to roll it once. Okay. Just one roll.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that roll should have been 1 anyways because he's still prone. It still says he's prone.
Right, because he's just being healed.
He is prone.
Accurate, yeah. So.
Yeah, he is actually prone. That's the fucked up part, but yes. Let's go. Is that a miss?
Is that a miss? What's Ace's armor class? 15, that's just a hit.
It's just exactly a hit. Yeah. But, okay.
Alright, so as that happens, as this reaver comes down and stabs into Ace, how many hit points did you restore?
8.
8.
Come on.
Oh.
Okay. He's still up.
Ace is able to roll to the side just enough so it kind of goes into the arm instead of into the thorax.
Oh, that's not bardic inspiration. That is a spell.
And as that happens, as that pain lances through your body, Ace, the ship kind of goes into this slow motion. Everything slowed down just as the sword was coming down, and you feel it dig into the fleshy part of your arm. Everyone's seeing the Reavers charging across the deck towards the cluster now in the middle of the foredeck that you've formed up almost back to back. Helicopter heads swooping in, and they just come in and slowly come to a halt where they are. At that point, there's an explosion. And in slow motion, the air is filled with splinters of wood, bodies being hurled into wild space. And it comes to a stop, chunks in the air, bodies flying aboard. You felt yourself be lifted up to be hurled into wild space. The stars themselves stop twinkling, and the illusion of wild space melts away, and you find yourself in the magical chambers of a simulations deck, your memories slowly fitting back into place. You can recall being warned that your first experience of wild space simulation would be very disorienting, and a test of your ability to function under pressure. Stomping across the room comes a hulking figure, just walking through the center of the explosion. A Hadozi woman, very gruff face, one missing wing flap, wearing a military uniform, bristling with medals. The air around her smells like cigar smoke. As you can see, Boatswain Tartar growls. The name returns to your mind. The Battle of Cathar didn't go so well for Captain Sardax and her crew. But our last battle makes for a good testing ground for the new recruits. End simulation!